Hey Pisces, this one is for you. Hi, this is Tarot Lumination with your love and relationship report for you Pisces for September 2017. Okay, we're just going to kind of dive right in. It's for particularly for chosen relationships. We're doing a crucible spread here where there's the energy of you, the energy of the other, and then the energy of the relationship itself. Okay, so I'm not going to go into big explanations about all that. We're just going to go straight into the reading, all right? Here we go. We're going to cut. Cards were already well shuffled in advance, but I'd like to take it to the very last moment. Let's say this is you and your energy, okay? Let's say this is a significant other, a chosen someone or other, a person of interest. Let's put it that way, okay? This would be you, again, going much deeper inside of you. This would be the other, going much deeper inside of them. And this is the energy of the relationship itself, okay? This energy is not you, it's not the other. This is the energy of the relationship itself. And here's the momentum of the relationship, okay? We're going to look at the card at the bottom at the moment, in just a moment. Normally I talk for a long time to explain this to the spread and the crucible and the meaning behind the spread and everything, but we just don't have time right now, so we're just going to literally dive right in. Overall, let's just say the weather is out there and it influences the situation. You don't have to let this own you. The Justice card is here, and it indicates that whatever is happening for you Pisces is exactly the way it should be. You're getting what you deserve, okay? And it is justly balanced. It's not partial towards you or partial towards another. It's exactly as it should be according to, let's say, the will of heaven. Put it that way. If you believe in that kind of stuff, you know, whether things are divinely ordained or not, okay? It's just that everything is exactly as it should be because it can't actually be any other way. Those are just the laws of physics. And it's a question of us, how we interpret our reality, okay? So let's have a look. What's your energy here? Okay. Now, with the Nine of Pentacles here, Pisces, with this weather, let's say in the background here, you might be feeling that it's about time you had this sense of independence to some degree. The Nine of Pentacles is a bit of a solitary card, but it's also a very comfortable card in that the figure here has everything that they need in order to conduct their lives in a very, let's say, moderated, well-balanced manner where basically everything is as it should be, especially when it comes to the material, tangible aspects of life in the world. So you could be in a position right now, if you've been struggling for a long time, you know, for the last year and a half or more, because of all the Pisces, Virgo, North Node challenges and the eclipses, that's all over now. So you might be feeling a lot more peaceful, a lot more stabilized, and a lot more, let's say, what's the word, independent, like an independent person, where you are in a much stronger position now to make decisions, make healthy decisions in the dynamics of relationship, okay? Especially when it comes to the practical aspects of relationship. From the Tarot Illumination perspective, love is as love does. It's wonderful to have a reading full of love cards, and that's just juicy and romantic and everything. However, if you understand the idea that love is as love does, where you love yourself first, and then you make conscious, deliberate decisions day by day, moment by moment. What is the most loving way for me to be right now towards myself, so that I can be my most loving self to myself, so that I can have put out the most love to the world, because that's how you create your reality, because then the love comes back to you. You are loving, you are loved, okay? You be loving, be loved. So this is a strong indicator that you're kind of in a good position to do that and be that, and you deserve that. Okay, you deserve to be that way because of everything that you've had to endure recently or even for a long time. Now, for some of you, it might not feel that way. It might feel like, I wish I had all this. I just wish I had this lovely card of independence. But even if things have the appearance of being, let's say, physically or materially unsubstantiated, it might just be a perception, okay? It might just be an attitude problem, not a problem, but a perception issue where you might, if you're carrying a lot of burdens right now, and pain and suffering, it might be that you've had to endure that for so long and you don't know anything else and you're still attached to it. So if this is more the energy of a wish, then that's understandable too. But it might just be that you actually have this right now. Like if you're kind of in the dumps about certain things, and change the perspective and understand that this is a chance to reveal it, to heal it. Because we still have a lot of Neptunian Pisces energy kind of going on right now with Neptune and Chiron and everything. So it would be understandable. Let's have a look at the other, okay? Okay, so let's say we're dealing with a person of significance here, a chosen one, or someone who would be desirable. Then the energy that they're radiating is more or less, I would say, defensive. With the Two of Swords here, it can indicate that the energy of the other person might be a deliberate choice to exercise their right to decide not to decide, if that makes any sense to you. In other words, they might be deliberately and willingly avoiding or not looking at the situation or the relationship or you in any way that's useful to you, in terms of what might feel like a loving, bonded relationship where there's a strong sense of synergy between both parties. Instead, you have this energy over here of almost detachment. And you see the little tiny moon in the background? It might be that they are dealing with their own eclipse energy that's starting to unfold now big time here in September, where a lot of, let's say, matter, physical matter, or the physical interpretation of life is starting to change around them so much that the things that are being released or eclipsed or removed or let go could be disturbing enough that they don't want to deal with it, they don't want to handle it. And then looking into the future, because it might seem so wobbly or unstable or without any understandable prospects or guidance or direction, that would also induce the other party to deliberately, stay blind. In other words, I don't want to know what's going on. I'm just going to be who I am right now, and I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to try to evolve or grow. I'm not going to deal with the issues that are being left behind. It's almost like it's deliberate choice to stay out of the game. In other words, it's almost like, well, they're still relating, but they're not relating directly with you. They are sort of almost like minding their own business because they might feel uncomfortable and scared about what's happening with them in the context of this relationship or any relationship, especially with themselves. They might feel very uncomfortable with themselves with this card here. And again, that would be perfectly just because we're dealing with present time right now, here in September. This is what's happening. This is the energy, okay? And so if, they might have had years of their own issues and baggage to deal with, and their eclipse energy is taking them into a new direction. And they might be really struggling with this big transformation and big shifts that are happening right now. They might sense it deeply in their bones, and they're just deciding, I can't handle this. I'm just going to kind of detach, okay? And dear Pisces, you can just go on and be who you are and what you want to do. But I'm staying over here. I'm not going to do anything. I don't want to know. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't know what you're up to. I don't know what I'm up to. I'm just going to avoid making any kind of commitments or decisions or comments or responses, okay? So that might not be very comfortable for you, Pisces, dealing with that kind of energy over here from a significant other. Let's go deeper inside of you, okay? Okay, well, more swords here. We've got a lot of swords piling up already. So Pisces, if you are looking at this situation in a very, very methodical, healthy, loving kind of way, and you are sensing or feeling a sense of justice. In other words, this is exactly how things are, and let's deal with reality instead of wishing it could be this or hoping it could have been that or wondering if it will ever be this or that. No, no, no. We're dealing with the truth in the moment here right now. This person over here is struggling with the energy of truth, the energy of facts, the energy of decision making. They're obviously deeply struggling with that energy, in which case that might trigger a reflex behavior in yourself, okay? Maybe not a response, like a considered response, but actually an out and out reflex behavior where you're literally reacting, okay? And reaction is different from responding. Responding usually implies that you have made an evaluation of the situation from your independent perspective, okay? And you're making a very realistic, genuine, loving evaluation of your situation based on you're loving you first, and you're taking things exactly as they are. You're not reinterpreting anything or fantasizing or mushing things into overly idealized or delusionally lost. We're just dealing with nuts and bolts facts here. And with the Six of Swords, you might be feeling the energy of walking away, time to move on, trying to reprogram, reconsider everything, especially your whole life from the inside out, as triggered by this relationship dynamic. We're not seeing anybody literally walking away here, but you might be making deliberate decisions that you need to really upgrade yourself because certain situations might not be acceptable or tolerable to you. So if you're reacting with Six of Swords, you're like, oh, I need to get out of this. I'm gone. I'm just taking what I've got, what I can grab, stuff it in my backpack and move on. I don't need any of their emotional turbulence or doo-doo or baggage or anything. We're just going to move on, and I'll take what I can with me and go from there. Now, it's also a card of relationship here, because with the Six of Swords, you can see it's almost like a family. So if you feel that you're having to like carry someone else's baggage with you as your own, let's say, evolutionary journey, and you're not too comfortable with that, I would understand you as your reader. Let's give this two options here. With the Six of Swords here, let's say in your sense, your energy of fullness, being independent, and your right to have your own independence, your right to individuation, your right to make decisions that are best for you, which will ultimately be best what's for the relationship. It might be that deep down inside, in that context, you could be considering moving on completely, or salvaging what you can of the relationship and trying to find ways to completely reformat the whole relationship and make it work so that it works better and in a more peaceful way. But you would be then taking on the burden of the other, because there's no indication of their willingness to take on their weight or carry their weight in this situation. You would be doing that all on your own volition, okay? So I'm not saying whether that's a good, wise, or smart, or healthy, or loving thing to do, but either way, the energy is about moving on and upgrading to more tranquility, peace, higher frequency ways of loving and being and exchanging yourself in a loving relationship. And maybe this relationship is an indication of what's not working and what is no longer acceptable for you, because you totally deserve to have your full integrity, your life and resources intact. And if they are having a problem, that is their problem. I mean, it just might be occurring in the context of the relationship, and that now becomes a problem for you. Okay, let's have a look deep inside of them. Okay, well, they are also, I feel like this is going on inside of them, deep inside, in significant relationship dynamics with you over here, Pisces. I'm sorry, I should probably put this over here. In fact, let's do that. Let's swap this around. We're going to do that right now. Okay? Put this over here, because then it makes a little bit more sense visually for you guys. So that's Pisces, and that's you. And this is the significant other. So with this other, deep down inside, they might be actually reevaluating their whole relationship with you based upon what's working for them. Okay? This is their own private energy, and they might be keeping themselves very guarded and closed off from you and the relationship, the whole thing, while they're trying to figure out and understand what's actually going on here. And their posture, their like physical way of being, which might appear to you as them being unwilling to like integrate fully with you or make healthy decisions with you or relate to you in a loving romantic way, it's because deep inside of them, they are exercising their right to decide not to decide while they go on their own internal journey of exploration and evaluation and prospecting of what the heck am I going to do now? Okay, because they might feel and see a whole new horizon in front of them, which may or may not include you. And they don't particularly want to spill the beans about all that just yet, because they may be, still quite deeply vested in the relationship itself, but they might be sensing their own energy of changing and shifting and moving on, just like you are. In some ways, both these cards indicate both parties changing and shifting and moving on. You are doing it in your way over here by being willing to dump anything that's no longer healthy for you, take the good stuff, everything that you've learned, and move on with whoever and whatever is valuable to you, people who love you, people that you love and trust, and move on to a peaceful situation. That's the deep internal energy. And over there, it's more to do with ambition. What am I going to do now? How am I going to get the most out of this situation? Have I already got everything I can or everything that could ever happen out of this relationship? Should I just grab it and move on? Or should I stay in the relationship? I don't know. I am not making a decision right now because I don't really know. I'm evaluating, and they're looking above and beyond and outside the relationship. That's what I'm feeling for you, Pisces, because this energy could or may not be you, Pisces, moving out of the relationship itself. And the same over here. They might be still in the context of relationship, but they might be considering what lies beyond our relationship. And so, in other words, both these cards could indicate something simmering in the background where nobody's talking about it openly and honestly, where both parties are looking at each other pretty much from the other side of the room. Almost like you're sitting there on that side of the sofa, they're sitting there on that side of the sofa, acting as if everything is just fine. But inside, there is all this shifting and changing and reevaluating that's going on, which affects the stability of the relationship itself here. So let's have a look at the core. Look, okay, we have the Three of Swords here. So I'm sure a lot of you will think, oh no, it's the Three of Swords, the ultimate pain, heart, crushing, broken heart card. Okay, it doesn't always have to be that way. It might be. I'm not trying to soften up the reading here because it might already feel to you, Pisces, that this is what the relationship status is right now. Okay, this is the energy of the relationship itself. It's not you, it's not the other. This is the relationship. In other words, the relationship might be on very, very shaky ground as both of you are in a kind of a private place of figuring out who are you going to be going forward in September and October and November. Remember, Pisces, a lot of this energy here in Virgo in September is diametrically opposed to you. It's the ultimate energy of opposition, of ultimate relationship. It would be the equivalent of marriage type energy. Your natural opposite would be Virgo, for example. And let's say you had a very old-fashioned traditional marriage with a Virgo, and you get all the good stuff of a really good, solid marriage based on ultimate opposition. But that can also turn into your worst enemy when things go wrong, or if you do not have the strength or maturity or the resources or the foresight or the willingness to decide how to maintain and keep and continue a healthy relationship. So in many ways, Pisces, right now, you are very, very vulnerable. I'm not trying to scare you, but if you are feeling deep down that there's a kind of a moving on energy, we need to do what's best for Pisces here. And they are deep down starting to figure out and evaluate and start prospecting in their own minds, well, They might already be thinking, I'm on the way out, but they're looking for a way out where they don't endure too much pain. They might be just looking for a way out to get everything they can on the way out and grab what they can and move on, and bye-bye, sucks to you. Either way, you add up that energy, and it comes to the Three of Swords here, where even if you're not openly talking about it or discussing it, and if you're living like fake lives, or if you're living through appearances or acting as if everything's just great, and you're just inwardly simmering or both realizing that we have a big problem here, then the relationship could well be in jeopardy. Now, this could come about without any major conflicts having had to occur. In other words, this could be a very simmering internal energy of the relationship itself, where the Three of Swords is an indication that the relationship itself is in dire straits, really dire condition, and you might need third-party intervention. You might need professional help, because if you guys are really, truly, deeply vested in each other and a relationship, and there's a lot at stake here, then you've got a big problem. If it's a fragile relationship anyway, and there's a lot of instability that was already happening, and you're already sensing it and feeling it, they're being very guarded and protective and secretive about their behaviors, actions, and decisions. You're totally open and comfortable with who you are, but it's actually very difficult to have a healthy relationship when another party is really not communicating or committing or sharing themselves in any way. They're not willing to share the risk. In other words, you would be dealing with a significant other who's basically out for what they can get out of the relationship. That happens with a lot of people. It's just like, oh, what can I get out of this relationship? Now, they might not say it openly directly, but internally their programming might just be built that way. In a very loving, healthy relationship, you would conduct yourselves as two parties through the relationship on the understanding, like, hi, honey, we got to figure some stuff out. And they go, yeah, I know, I can feel it. We got to deal with this. Let's have a kitchen table meeting. So you come together and let's have a look at the relationship, honey. And then you and the other party make deliberate, conscious, open, clear decisions to figure out what's wrong, why it's wrong, and how are we going to fix it. In other words, you're continuing to invest in the relationship. In other words, honey, please tell me what's your problem and how are we going to deal with this. And you go, the other person says, well, actually, I've got a problem with this, this, and this. And I'd like you to tell me a little bit more of what's going on inside of you, because I really feel our relationship is in serious jeopardy here. That's what would happen in a healthy relationship. Even if it was as, let's say, tenuous as things here, in a healthy, loving relationship, you would deal with this and you would be able to figure out what needs to be done, where it needs to go. But it doesn't seem to be happening here at this moment. It seems to be like the relationship is actually to the point where it's virtually broken, to the point where both parties are thinking inwardly, time to move on in your own ways. Let's just have a look at the momentum here. Okay, you can reinterpret this however you want, dear Pisces. I would say treat this as a blessing. Treat the death card here as a blessing. This might be a really radically healthy healing situation opportunity here for you to literally transform. So if you don't take any of this stuff too personally, even if you're in a lot of crushing pain right now in your heart regarding a significant relationship, please understand that from the spiritual perspective, the higher frequency, from the most loving perspective, you could almost see this as a gift for you to transform and change and cut away that which no longer serves you. Even though it might be a very painful process in some ways, you know, coming to a cold, hard, clear decision that the relationship may not be healthy for whatever reasons. Could be, you could blame them, they could blame you. It almost doesn't matter what the reasons are. If the relationship is toxic, unhealthy, broken, damaged, above and beyond repair, then you can allow yourself, grant yourself permission and the other to completely dissolve the whole thing and move on, let go and release it, and allow the healing power of love to heal this, okay? It might be that you're really not almost meant for each other or good for each other anymore. There might not have been anything really noxious or awful that happened between you. It's just that this relationship might be one of those so-called learning relationships or a karmic relationship where you came together for all the best reasons and purposes only to discover this inside of yourselves and each other in the context of the relationship. So you could be learning a lot here about what it really takes to love oneself and heal and move on to a more happy, peaceful future. And they could be doing the same thing in their own way. In other words, it might be that there's a lot of pain going on and both parties are feeling it in the context of the relationship. And there might be a sense of loss, but guess what? Everything is exactly as it should be. So if it comes down to like a psychological, emotional, physical, spiritual divorce or separation or whatever you want to call it, please treat it as a very powerful transformational healing experience where you are now, let's just say, fate is intervening here and it's now coming back to you in real life where, bam, it's time to change, move on, it's over. Okay? So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm trying to cut down the time on these readings so we can get straight to the point and then you can reinterpret however you want. I'm going to leave this card here for you to view on the side here. Let's see if I can tuck this up for you a little bit more. And I hope you get something out of this reading. And I hope I didn't hurt your feelings or offend you or anything like that. Please, as you know the drill, watch for your sun, moon, and your rising. That is the convention here with tarot. So just go ahead and do that and mush it all together and see what happens, okay? Thank you so much, Pisces. Have a super, super September. Make the best of it, all right? Bye-bye.